for the listeners who are just joining us, our podcast was delayed a couple minutes because I had dog crap on my shoe. And
yes, you did. Something was smelling, and
was it smelling?
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out.
I don't know what's more bizarre, the fact that I didn't notice it visually or smellingly. How do you say that? Smelling, like visually and aromically?
Sure. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you didn't notice it at all. Yeah, I know. But
we could Google it.
We're not smart. I don't have my phone on me, so.
Wow. That's super healthy of you.
Yes.
Mine is right there.
Yeah.
Do you ever, when you're going out to dinner with a friend or whatever, and they put the phone upside down on the table, what does that mean to you?
That they're trying to pay attention to dinner.
Okay, what if it's this side up?
I don't really think about it. I think face down is just you're trying to pay attention and be mindful. And then face up is you're a little more open. But it depends. If it's on Do Not Disturb, then they're not going to get any notifications anyway. But if it's not, then it's like maybe they're waiting to get out of that dinner. Maybe they're waiting for a call.
Give me anything.
Yeah.
Even if it's on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. Somebody please
just
disturb me.
CNN update. They're like, I got to go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
There's a storm in Oklahoma. Yeah.
But there are some people that just keep it in their pocket. See, I take it out of my pocket because I'm pretty sure, even though a lot of studies have said otherwise, that it's just radiating whatever's going on in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think putting it right there is getting away from the radiation.
Oh, I think it's a millimeter game.
I don't know about that.
Really?
I think we're all pretty screwed.
We could Google it right now and probably not get a definitive answer.
Yeah, they're not going to tell us the truth. Because they want us to stay on our phones.
That's true.
So
that is true.
We are kind of like the test rabbits of the what are these phones doing to us generation.
As a creative, do you think the phone is a plus or a minus?
A minus.
Really? Full on minus?
I think it's for me. I think for a lot of people it can be a plus because I think a lot of people use it to research stuff and find inspiration. But I just go on Instagram and compare myself to everyone else. And I'm like, well, it's over. I'm not there yet. So, and then I just go on Reels and I just watch dumb shit until my brain turns to mashed potatoes. And that's it.
Don't you feel like there is a certain, you feel hungover really quickly. It's like this. Oh, you were about to say something.
No, just depressed almost.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
When you watch for a certain amount of time and you just get this, it's almost this cloud, this fog.
Yeah. We're not supposed to be on our phones that much. I just don't think we're supposed to have that much information. We're not supposed to have that much feedback, especially comments. My comments are insane and very quickly will make me be like, I should quit, but it's
that's so sad to hear.
Yeah, but being a female comic is not easy. So it's there's, I literally just looked at my phone before I left it downstairs and someone was just like, women suck at comedy. And I'm like, every day. That's what I get every day. And I'm just like, I wish, and then you can't deactivate comments because it screws up the algorithm. So it's this whole thing. But I was reading, I forget which book, but it was talking about depressed kids because kids are on their phone all the time, coming into the doctor's office, and the doctor won't prescribe medicine. They'll be like, get outside, go for a walk and put your phone down for a couple hours a day, come back and tell me if you still have the issue. And the issue goes away. The depression, the fog, all that stuff lifts if you just get outside and put your phone down. So I think on a large scale, it's bad for us, but on a personal level, for me, it's bad. It's not good. That's why I just have a social media manager run everything and I try not to look at any of it. Yeah,
and you just put all that depression on your social media manager.
She doesn't care because it's not
true.
her
You need
art.
that separation. I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah.
I now see why your phone was left downstairs. Yeah. No, but that is true. You want to find sort of that wall of separation from because I'll even do a thing where someone showed me where you could find your followers and unfollowers. And I really don't like them for that information.
People who unfollow you, but you have to download an app. You have to
No, you can see on a daily basis.
Oh yeah. I mean that because on a business profile you can see, but you can't see who specifically is unfollowing you. You can see how many people are unfollowing
I don't want that app.
Yeah, no, there's an app, and this is a whole another mental illness where like you can see who unfollows you.
Tell me
like the actual
That's not
people.
possible. That's not
I
possible.
had this mentally ill comic in LA when I met her. She was like in the green room. She's like, I'm going to follow all of you on Instagram and you have to follow me back. And if you follow me and unfollow me, I will know because I have the app that tells me. And I was like, bing, 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 you're unwell. I'm not following you.
Yeah.
So I never followed her. She followed me and then she ended up unfollowing me because she noticed that I never followed her back. And then, no, it gets worse. A year later, I hadn't seen her for like a year, run into her again. She's like, oh my God, hey, how are you? I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Follow me back. And I was like, and I just sat there and I was like, I'm not going to, but I'm not going to tell you that. And then I didn't. And then she followed and unfollowed me 17 times in 1 week. Because she thought I wasn't seeing that she was following me. So she was like waiting for me to follow her back. And then she DM'd me and she's like, hey, just wondering why you're not following me back. And I was like, because you need medical attention. Like this isn't your relationship with Instagram is not okay.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that
I ruined her life like for 2 weeks. You know, like I absolutely ruined her life. And then I remember.
And you don't even know each other.
No. And then she booked me on a show and then she forgot she booked me. So I was just like checking in. I was like, hey, oh no, this is what happened. I was getting off Instagram because I take it off my phone often and like my social media manager won't check DMs. So I just was like, hey, I just want to make sure I'm still on the show. My social media manager is going to be taking, because we didn't have each other's phone number. So it's like my social media manager is going to be taking over Instagram, whatever. And she was like, I don't know why you're lying to me about having a social media manager. I've asked around and I know that you don't have one.
Oh my
God.
God.
If you don't like me, just tell me.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was like, what is happening right now? And then I like send her my contract with my social media manager. I'm like, and then I just finally snapped on her. I was like, your relationship with Instagram is insane. You're insane. You can't talk to people like this. Like, I was like, I hope you get the help that you need. And then,
then
she
I'm
unfollowed
sure that
me.
was taken well.
She unfollowed me, but it took her like
for the 20th time.
Yeah,
now?
But it took her like 2 months, and then that was the end. I was like, God bless. And then she quit comedy.
She quit comedy. She wasn't. But that is sort of that's the tough thing, is that like it's tough to just be a comic these days. It's tough to just be a musician these days. It's tough to be just anything.
It's tough to be alive.
Well,
it's tough to just be out in this world. Honestly.
Yeah. But I mean, that I suppose that's a whole other thing. But I mean, like whatever your art form is, you then have this other level of promoting it, which is
right, which didn't used to exist. There used to be a company that just did that all for you.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's a give and a take, because now anybody can do it. But
right,
anybody can also fall down that spiral of sort of.
But then there's also some people who aren't ready for success getting it earlier because social media is just like catapulting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there's like this interesting thing of like really successful and funny TikTokers who think they can do stand-up, selling out, doing stand-up and not knowing how to do stand-up. So it's like this weird thing where it's like there's these really talented stand-ups who don't have the fan base yet, who can't sell out and aren't able to pay their bills doing something they're genuinely good at. And then these TikTokers who, I'm not taking anything away from them, but they're good at something completely different and then think they can do stand-up. And that's another problem.
Yeah. I was kind of one of those people who got like sold out a show before I deserved it. I had 12 minutes.
Oh yeah.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
And
good for you.
I know. But I
how did that feel when you had to stand
terrifying,
up there and do
super terrifying. No, but I had 2 months to get like a full hour.
Oh, okay. Well,
and
that's still not a lot of time.
It's not a lot of time. And what I did, I cheated. I'd use the little PowerPoint, and I incorporated like it into more of a one-man show to start. And then eventually I got good enough at stand-up that I sort of dropped the beginner skis. Do you water ski?
No.
You didn't grow
up? I have, but
yeah. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. Yeah. So you grew up in Wisconsin. Where on the hand? Point it out.
Right there.
Right there.
Like Yeah, suburbs of Milwaukee. I went to Mugwanago High School. I grew up in Big Bend, there's 1,100 people there.
Yeah, what most
and
people
dropping.
And dropping rapidly.
Dropping, yeah.
So Alpine Valley, kind of in that
sure.
area. Did you go to Alpine?
Oh yeah, Dave Matthews at Alpine.
Oh, you were a DMB fan.
No, I wasn't. I was just a fan of misbehaving.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really care about the music.
You just like the party aspect of it. Did you start young with the partying?
15, 16. I feel like that's actually pretty old here. I feel like everyone else started at like 10 or 11.
Well, I suppose I tried my first beer when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think 6. I tried my first beer.
What was it?
I don't remember. It was my dad just always had like a glass of beer at night. And I remember I was like, what is this? And he's like, try it. And
yeah.
Then I was like, I'm going to be an alcoholic. Because I hated the taste of it, but I loved how it made me feel. So that's just, the
even then,
the yeah.
You had enough to change the way you felt?
Yeah, I chugged.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
your dad let you chug it?
Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't like.
He was just like, get going. It's in the family. Runs in the family, kid. Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. We were able to take a sip off the from one of my folks' beers or something, like to try it. Nobody liked it. So
yeah, no, it tasted awful. And I never actually drank beer. When I started drinking, I drank like sweet like Parrot Bay rum.
Oh.
But like I would drink an entire bottle. Like when I was 15, I would start with like an entire bottle of Parrot Bay rum.
Whoa. Yeah. Wait. So you started drinking and you'd have a bottle?
Yeah.
Like right away?
Yeah.
You had kind of because for people who don't know, you are
I'm sober now. Yeah.
So you can look back.
Yeah, look back and be like, there was some red flags. No, like my friends, it would be like 6 of us and we would be doing the booze run and everybody would be like, what do you want? And I'm like, I need my own bottle. And then you guys can have your own bottle. So it was like, they would get 1 bottle to split between 5 and I would drink one by myself.
You would do that an entire night?
Yeah.
Oh my, wow. Yeah.
And I really never like puked. I didn't get sick. I just was...
That's the curse right there.
Yeah.
Because for me, I get sick if I have too much. Pretty quick.
Near the end of my drinking, like late 20s, I started getting sick.
It catches up with you.
It got me. But in the beginning, that was like my whole thing. I could outdrink everyone.
Well,
very impressive.
Yeah, congratulations. Yes, Colleen is. Yes. Oh, is that what it looks like?
Yes.
Parrot Bay rum. What the hell? Oh, is that? That's what's his face's rum?
Jimmy Buffett. No, it's not. It's not. It's a whole different brand of trash. But Malibu pineapple was my first hard lick. Malibu and pineapple. I was at my dad's wedding to my stepmom, and her like gay uncle was like, "Let's get wasted," and I was like, "Love this energy. Yeah. Take me there." And we drank Malibu and pineapples all night long. And then my sister, who's 2 years older than me, she was like a square, found out I was drunk and got so mad at me. She's like, Dad, Brittany's drunk. I have to take her home. So my dad's like, take her home, whatever. It was me and my friend and my sister and her friend. And she takes me to the police station.
What?
She takes me to the police station. Your sister? My sister.
What kind of sister does that?
She was a narc.
Oh my God.
No. And she took me to the police station. She's like, I'm going to drop you off. She's like, this is where you deserve to be. You're going to go to jail.
How old is she at this point?
Well, I was probably 14 or 15, so she's 16. She could drive 16 or 17.
This is older sister energy.
And then she drove away, ultimately didn't drop me off at the police station. We get back to the house and I'm just like being lippy. I was just being an asshole. I was like, and then she punched me in the face.
Did she? She got you.
She punched me. She knocked me out.
She knocked you out cold?
I mean, not cold, but like I fell on my back and I was like, and then I called my dad and I was like, Heather punched me and I just ruined their wedding. They had to come home from their wedding.
Oh my God.
And that was the beginning of the end. My stepmom hated me. I mean, she didn't like me before that, but she was like, you ruined my wedding. And I was like,
you didn't punch
I was like,
yourself.
It wasn't me. It was Heather being a narc.
Some could argue that you could have settled that on your own.
Punched her back.
Yeah.
I really don't think I had the skills. Like, I was pretty.
And violence isn't the answer.
Yeah,
kids.
it's not. Yeah, it's not the answer. And also, I feel like I did win that because now when we talk about it, I'm like, well, you're the one who lost your temper and punched me. You know,
that's true. Yeah.
Whenever you look back on violence, if you didn't lose your cool, you win.
True.
Yeah.
Even if you were a full bottle of Parapet deep.
Yeah. Malibu pineapples.
My first beer was Red Dog. Do you ever have Red Dog?
Oh yeah. Wait, no, I had Mad Dog. 40-40.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. I was talking beer. You were talking something way different.
Yeah. What even is that?
Mad Dog?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like...
I mean, like I remember the taste, but what is it considered?
It's a malt liquor of some sort. Colleen,
yes.
What is it? Fortified wine? Oh my God.
I used to drink Four Locos and chase it with Mad Dog 20 times.
Oh.
Like the original Four Locos. Do you remember those?
Oh, my buddy, we would call him the Hurricane every time he drank Four Loko because he just turned into a hurricane. Four Loko, there is something that like is banned by the cartel in Four Loko. Like
it
even
was
the
gasoline
cartel
and crack.
Like, yeah.
They had to like redo it. They're like, let's try this again.
Hey, maybe bath salts is not something we should put in this concoction. Yeah,
I remember that.
And it was totally marketed to like college underage.
Children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember Juice? It was called Juice. It was Little John's version of Four Loko.
Like that crunk stuff or whatever.
Yeah, but it was just called Juice. And it was literally like I think it was Lil Jon.
Spelled the same?
It might have been Joose, but honestly...
Interesting.
I don't remember. It was called Juice.
Joe's.
I used to have Joe's. Maybe it was just Juice. Yeah, what is it?
It's Joose.
Told you.
Juice.
Yeah, you said.
Interesting. Yeah, you can't just market the name Juice because trademark wise. That's why you gotta spell it.
You think that's taken?
100%. Well, it's too common.
I don't think you can just take Juice.
Yeah.
And trademark it.
Because I was looking into that.
Trademarking Juice?
No, old fashioned.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, it's not
you can't
work.
do that.
Yeah. I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're sure.
Nope. Juice. Oh man, all that.
Swill
that I used to just drink.
It's terrible. But so, okay. Well, so you're drinking and you're in Wisconsin. Do you do any like, what's the most Wisconsin thing that like, from your childhood that you remember doing?
Well, I mean, I went to McGuanago High School. So like, it was a lot of tractors and farm stuff. Like I remember going in like barns and getting hammered and like riding around on tractors.
That's pretty Wisconsin.
Or like,
don't do that, kids, by the way. We're not endorsing that.
Nope.
Heavy machinery and alcohol does not mix.
Things have changed.
Yeah, they haven't, but
well, that's true. People's perception of things have changed.
Yeah,
it used to not be so frowned upon, but yeah, I remember like just being in a barn or like being wasted, and there was like chicks, like little chicks, and I would just like pet little chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something I've done anywhere else.
It's so funny. I would go to my buddy's farm and we would go on these tractor rides and we would all be riding in the big old lift, and just as like an elevated seat, and that could have easily dropped,
Yeah. We all could have died, but
yeah, kid stuff.
We made it.
Kid stuff. Yeah.
We made it.
No ice fishing, nothing like that.
I did ice fishing a few times. I remember one time I went ice fishing with my dad and my Uncle Danny, and my Uncle Danny brought one of his girls. My Uncle Danny's wild. Okay. Like he spends a lot of time in Colombia and fishing.
Okay. Fishing with floats. Wow.
Fishing in Colombia. And he came with,
is Danny his real name or using an alias?
No, Danny's his real name, but he'll never hear this. Yeah, he has a flip phone. Like
cool.
Yeah.
So you're protected.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah. He brought his girlfriend, who
another air quote.
Yeah, was just a stripper, and she was so cool. I fucking loved her. She had like green hair and a tongue ring, and her name was Dawn, and she was just like
real name Dawn.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. Okay. It was many years ago.
Met her.
He just met her, and he brought a stripper with us ice fishing, probably at the strip club.
Okay,
I would imagine he took her, from work. He captured her.
Well, capture. Okay, now we're in different territory. So he just brought a stripper ice fishing.
Yeah. And that was the only time I remember ice fishing because she was great.
I mean,
she was a lot of fun.
Okay, she was wearing more than what she would wear to work. She was wearing more than work attire. She was well comfortable.
Yeah, she was great.
Did she tell you that she was a stripper, or did Danny, or did your dad?
She was saying she was a dancer, and my dad's like, "Whoa!" Like, and she's like, "No, I just dance." And I remember. And then later, I was like, "What happened there?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, that was a stripper."
Oh, your dad then told you?
yeah, later.
Wow.
Because I liked her so much, I kept bringing her up. I'm like, "Where's that dancer Dawn? I love her." He's like, "She's probably wrapped around a pole right now, and not a fishing pole."
yeah, that's funny. Wow. I mean, so interesting. Yeah. So that was I didn't expect. Did you guys catch fish?
Yeah, I think so.
What did Dawn catch?
I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe a sunfish.
I don't know.
The dawn.
Yeah,
sun,
I do not remember.
Dawn. There's something there. There's a joke there. What did you always want to be a comedian?
No.
How'd you get into this whole deal? How'd you get going down the wrong tracks here?
Yeah. Honestly, well, when I moved to LA, I went to go visit a friend in Arizona, and I got a DUI. And then I had to go to jail for that DUI.
Oh, wow. They're very strict about it.
Very strict. They have zero tolerance. It's not like Wisconsin.
Wisconsin has all too lenient laws, largely.
Yeah, it's just like a rite of passage.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible here.
Not good. Way worse in Arizona, though, especially coming from Wisconsin, because I was like pretty fresh to LA. So I had been in Wisconsin like 6 months prior. And when I got my DUI, I was like, I'm going to be fine. And I wasn't fine. And I had to go to jail for 30 days. And I was like, pretty depressed. And then I worked at an ad agency, and the guy that I sat across from was a strategist, but he also did comedy on the side.
Yeah.
And he was like quitting to do comedy full time. And he was like, "You're really funny." And he's like, "I know you're like going through it right now," because I was going to jail at night to go to sleep. Like, he's like, "I know you're going through it right now." He's like, "If you can't afford therapy, you should try comedy."
That's what he said.
Yeah. He's like, because it's like therapy, but it's cheap. It's free.
It's free.
Yeah. So
and that's what signed you up. Like,
he literally quit, and he went to Afghanistan to perform for the troops, and he called me every week for like 6 weeks until I finally signed up for like this writing class, and it was the best thing, hardest, but the best thing I ever did.
Which writing class was it?
Jerry Katzman's comedy writing class. It's like it's not 6 weeks, maybe it's 12. It's like very intense. And it's a total trust fall, because you just tell this guy everything about yourself, like the things that scare you the most, the things, and at the time I was still drinking. So I didn't like know I was an alcoholic yet. And like, just like all these things where he then like kind of helps you navigate. Like, it's like, we start here with the easy stuff to talk about, like what's funny about being from Wisconsin is, you know what I mean? And then like we get into the darker stuff, the going to jail and all that stuff.
You know what's funny is like, I'm actually super fascinated in this. Now, was this a group class?
Yeah. So there's 10 of us in the class.
And would you say this in front of everybody? You're like deep dark secrets, or is this one-on-one?
No. So you write it all down.
Yeah.
Like, it's the assignment before you start the class is to answer all of these questions. Yeah. And it's intense. It's like pages and pages of questions. Mm-hmm. And he's like, the more honest you are with me, the more successful we're going to be. So I just was like, I had nothing to lose. So I was like, here's everything. And then he just like guides you, kind of through it. He teaches you how to write premises, how to write act outs, kind of how to find your voice. And then at the end of it, you have, anywhere between a 5 and 7 minute set. And then the like finale of the class is getting on stage at the haha.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The haha.
The haha.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you film it. And then if you're any good, you can send that film to bookers. And it actually very quickly started going well for me. Like, after that class, like I got a lot of things really quickly. And then
I want to get to when you got things right. But before that, I just want to talk about this class. Was there like some sort of, I took this Meisner class in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And for people who don't know, it's like where you kind of, I don't know, repeat stuff. That's sort of the basics of like, I am wearing a red coat. You are wearing a red coat, like with a partner. But then he sort of broke that down more, and like he would be kind of like emotionally abusive to you on stage, like in front of everybody, to sort of elicit some sort of emotional response. Was there anything like that in that class? Or was he pretty kind?
The emotional abuse was psychological abuse. Like, it was like, if you don't fucking...
I don't know the difference.
Okay. If you don't bring it, like, he's not going to embarrass you in that way, like try and embarrass you in front of people.
Yeah.
But if you don't bring it, like if you don't write well, if you don't dig deep, if you don't do the things that he tells you to do, he kind of is like, why are you wasting everyone's time?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And by the way, that psychological abuse has stuck with me my entire career because I still write with him. Like I still will do writing sessions with him where I spend like 3 months. And it's like, if I don't show up with jokes, he's going to be mad at me. And that like continues to make me produce.
That's great. But do you think, are there a lot of comics in LA that go to him? Because I've also heard that a lot of comics be like, oh, never do a writing class. I've done writing classes, but
every comic I know that I work with and that I respect has done a writing class.
Isn't that interesting? I must be thinking of people at open mics who said that.
Or just like very old school people who didn't even have the option for a writing class. Yeah. Where it's like, that's like a very old mentality. I can't think of a single person who wouldn't be like, yeah, if there's a cheat code, take it. Because like just even like structurally how to write a joke or what's going on, there is like a little bit of magic, but you can teach that magic. Right. Rather than going to 3 years worth of open mics. Because that's what I equate that class to. It's like you can do open mics for 3 years and figure it out. Or you can take this class for 3 months or 12, whatever it is, and figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if somebody knows this and why not tap into that knowledge? And also you learn a lot of bad habits at open mics, I find.
Also, they're just the worst in LA. I mean,
they suck.
All comics. Nobody wants to laugh at you. It's the darkest, loneliest group of people. I never did an open mic.
I did a ton. I did Fourth Wall where you pay $5.
Yeah.
I paid to have people just stare at me like this and read their jokes as I was telling jokes.
Right.
I do think that made me okay with bombing horrifically.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, sure.
You're gonna do that anyway.
Yeah. You're gonna have to figure that out. If you're gonna be a comic, you have to figure that out anyway.
Yeah, you've had some interesting bombs. Do you want to talk about those or no?
Sure, I don't care. Yeah, why not? Any other trauma you want to take?
No. I just a lot of times when I have comics up here. I've had some really bad bombs myself, so I just
How about you tell me about yours first?
Okay. This was like one of my first times going up. I always thought I absolutely crushed at my brother's wedding, doing the best man speech. My other brothers also gave a best man speech, and I think I had the better one.
Right.
Yeah. So I was riding high, and I went to this open mic, and I wrote everything down.
From the speech? Were you redoing the speech?
No, I just wrote a 5-minute set, and I went up there. I was like, this is going to murder. I was listening to other people go up there, not getting any laughs. I was like, I'm so smart. You know that feeling too. Yes. And now if I ever feel that feeling, I'm like, shut up. Yep, that is not the feeling you want. And then I got up there and I started doing the whole thing. Crickets off the top. Forgot 2 minutes of my whole thing. So the beginning and the end didn't connect. The only laugh I got the whole time was something I made up on stage. Yeah. Didn't go back. This was on Venice Boulevard in the back of some coffee shop. So it was outside. And so it was not a good venue to begin with. Outside is not always the best. And I didn't get back up on stage for 6 months.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Super sad, so Charlie.
That is for me, that's the tell that I'm going to bomb. If I think I'm about to fuck these hoes up, the person getting fucked up is me. Yeah. I'm going to bomb. So the first time I was ever headlining, I was at the House of Comedy in Minnesota at the Mall of America.
Oh yeah. I've played that. I've done that so many times.
Oh my God.
Do you like that one?
Well,
obviously no. Listen to the story, Charlie.
First of all, the venue itself, the people that run it are great. They're wonderful people. The venue itself, it's like you could fly hot air balloons in there. The ceilings are so high, which is not great for comedy.
I didn't even notice that.
They're so high.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So all of the laughs, I mean, for people who don't know comedy, you want low ceilings, the acoustics to be, anyway, in your favor. So I brought this person on the road with me. Do you know Mateen Stewart?
Not personally.
Okay. So
I don't know anybody.
Okay, that's fine. I'll stop asking. He was my feature. And I love Mateen. He's very talented. But what I did was, because I didn't have a big following yet, I hired a local comic to bring people. I was like, you need to fill the place.
Oh, wow.
And
smart.
Yeah. And she was like, yes, absolutely. Like, I'll bring all my friends, blah, 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 whatever. Great. So I get there and there's like 80 people there. That's plenty for me. Like, I'm like, that's great. Okay. That's fine. Whatever.
That's like 300 capacity, 400 capacity.
Yeah. So it's not.
It is a bigger room.
Yeah, it is a bigger room. Yeah. But it was like, I was thrilled because I'm like, if I would have done this on my own, there'd be 6 people here. So.
Oh, yeah. That's not fun.
She did her job. She brought all of the people. And she goes up and she does fine.
Yeah.
And then Mateen goes up and crushes. I mean, just murders. And I was just like,
I'm getting a feeling in my stomach just thinking about this. And you're sitting back at that kitchen.
I'm just sitting back waiting. There. No, and I'm like, well, if he's doing well, I'm gonna crush.
Oh, yeah.
I am an egomaniac. And I'm also drinking Diet Cokes. And I think at the time I wasn't drinking any caffeine. So my energy was just like a hummingbird.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna kill. And when I say I got up there and I bombed for 45 minutes straight, and it was just, I was like, what's happening here? And like, for those of you who don't know my comedy, I'm very dark and I'm very dirty, and they're just all looking at me like stunned. The show's over. Mateen and I are outside afterwards. I didn't even want to be out there, but he's like, you have to be a pro and just come out and say whatever, hello to people. And everyone's saying to Mateen, they're like, Mateen, you are you're so funny. You're so great. You're da-da-da-da. And like, this woman came up to me and she's like, you're so pretty.
Oh my God.
I was like, and the reason I was doing with this show was because I was getting ready to film my special.
No.
And I had a moment of like, I should quit. I don't think I can do this. And like, that it was just like such a trigger for me too, because I remember in high school, like I wasn't popular in high school and I was on the volleyball team, and I remember our coach was like making us do this circle where they're like, go around and say 2 things nice about the person to the right of you. And the person to the left of me was like, Brittany's really pretty.
Oh my God.
And then she's like, don't just like say something else, like not superficial. And she's like, that's it. She's just really
wow.
pretty. And I was like, oh, like it's like an actual trauma when people say
trauma
that.
Shovel.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. So it was horrible. And then the opener, who's very sweet, like was just like, hey, do you want to like grab lunch tomorrow? And everything in me said no. Like, I don't want to. But I was like, you know what? Just be whatever. Just show up, go to lunch, whatever.
Yeah, it's very Midwest nice of you.
Yeah. And I was talking to her and she's like, yeah, so I brought my whole Bible study to the show. That's who the crowd was.
Could have been useful information.
You should have told me that.
Wow.
Immediately. So it's like 90 people from her Bible study, and I have like all these filthy jokes, and I'm just like, they were just praying for me.
Yeah, they were praying for you. And I'm like,
oh, that would have been useful immediately, you know?
Yeah.
So at least there was a reason it was so bad, but it doesn't make it any less horrific. It was.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
Pretty bad.
That's tough.
But now it was Mateen's birthday show yesterday or 2 days ago, at whenever, I don't know what time is. But he brought me on stage. He's like, this next comic is very pretty. And I'm like,
that's hilarious. Super
it's
funny.
Like a running joke with us now. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but the special, so you start comedy kind of later than I would say most comedians. How old were you when you started?
23.
No, that's pretty much
23. But I did 23 to 25, and then I got in a relationship and I was like, I'm happy and I have nothing to talk about now. And I quit comedy for like 2 years and then I came back. So I think that was difficult because then I came back in like 2018, 2019, and then 2020 was the pandemic. So,
but
it's been like
if you, it's been kind of a wild thing, but you've had so many great opportunities and you've had so many, like you've done a lot of, like you did Don't Tell, and you had the like a bunch of clips kind of blow up. So, I mean, how did it go from like, you know, being sort of a comedian, doing the mics, doing the work, doing the comedy thing to kind of getting or not doing the mics, but doing the class.
Yeah.
You just never did any mics. You just got booked on shows right away.
Yeah. So after I did that class, like I said, I got very lucky. Like there was just like a few things that happened where it was like moving.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's like I quickly like opened for Bobby Lee. I quickly like started getting booked on shows with like Theo Vaughn and Damon Wayans and like all these people where it was just like it was kind of happening for me, but I was also still drinking and I was kind of treating it like a party, like not a career. I remember being drunk in a green room once and one of my friends coming because she was so excited about the lineup and who was on it and the fact that I was on it was like insane. And she's like, "Why are you drunk at work?" And I was like, "This isn't work." You know what I mean? Like I wasn't, because I had a day job in advertising, so I wasn't taking it seriously. So I think that got in the way a little bit. So I think like taking that break, even though I regret it a little bit, like I got sober in that break and then I was able to come back and approach it with like seriousness that I didn't have before that. So then once I felt like I was behind, I felt like I had to make up for lost time. So I very quickly was like, okay, these jokes are old, but they're good, but I want to burn them. So I want to film a special.
Yep.
And then I remember my manager at the time, I was like, "Hey, I think I want to film a special." Because like I said, I used to work in advertising. So I know a lot of people that can get shit done.
Yeah.
And like it wouldn't be a ton of money and they would make it look really good. So I told him, I was like, "I want to film a special." And he was like, "I don't think you should." He's like, "I think you should wait for like Netflix or Comedy Central or someone to find you." And I was like, okay. And I kind of took that. And then I talked to my friends in Austin who have a production company and my other friend who's a director. And they're like, "We can get like, let's just do it. Like, if you want to do it, let's just do it." And so then I called my manager back and I was like, "So I'm doing this like with or without you."
Is this 800-pound gorilla?
They're not my management team. They are the ones who license the special. Bring Lights and Sound out of Austin is the production company.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then Drew Vaughn is the director who did the special. And then my manager was like, "Oh yeah, amazing." Like all gung ho about it, you know, wanted to EP it. And he was great. He was very helpful, but like, it was one of those things where I had to like not listen to his advice and listen to my gut. Cause I was like, I'm ready to get this. I'm ready to get these jokes out, you know?
It's tough to do that in a business that, I think it's just tough to do that. Listen to your gut sometimes in this sort of business. So
yeah, but you have to,
because
otherwise people will just tell you like, it's like, I don't know, you know what's best for you creatively. I knew those jokes were cooked. I also think I kind of knew like a lot of those jokes were about being married and like my shit was not working there. So I kind of was like, I just was like, I got to get these out.
You got to get, get them out while it still makes sense.
Well, it still makes sense. Yeah. And then, you know, obviously we were like going through our separation and divorce when the editing and the clipping and like all that stuff was happening. I was like, oh, this is just horrible foreshadowing. Like all of the jokes are about how badly I want to be single. So that was brutal, but putting it out was great. And like, I mean, it went way better than I would have ever imagined.
And then you kind of see, is that the point where you see your social media following jump from like whatever the standard, I have a social media account to like substantial following? Was that kind of off of those? Or what,
I mean, in 2022, it went from 20,000 followers to 190.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's all from those clips.
Yeah. And that's sort of, so like for other comics out there who are like, I know I've got like great material, but I don't know how to get my stuff shot, you know? Like what do you say to that? Like what do you do?
I mean, just it's so easy now. Like even you know, clips from iPhones are going viral. So it's like just bring your iPhone to your show, shoot your set and clip it up. It's just so you can do it all on iMovie. It's so easy. And then if you have money and you want to shoot a real special, like there are people who will get it done. Like I remember when I was talking to my manager, he's like, it's going to take like 90 to 100,000 to get this done. And I was like, no, you're talking to the wrong people. Because like for me, I worked in advertising and like all those people work on like multi-$100,000, $1 million campaigns. Like I used to work with people that worked at Apple, but they're not like creatively satisfied, satiated. So they know how to make something look beautiful and they want those side projects. So it's just about like finding and knowing the right people that are going to make it look good enough, you know?
Yeah. I think too, like when I was first in LA, I was like trying to network with like people who had like were successful or whatever, but that was like the wrong kind of networking. I think it's good to network, but it's the network to find other creatives that you can like make stuff with. So I think.
Yeah, I think that's a big lesson. It's like nobody's going to give you anything. It doesn't matter how much they believe in you or how much they say they are going to give you something. That was like a big lesson when my special came out too. I can't tell you how many of those big dog comics were like, I'm going to have you on my podcast. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when my special came out, it was just, even some of my closest friends just like, sorry, I can't have you on. Joe Rogan's on this week. And I'm like, all righty. But it kind of made it more satisfying when it took off on its own, because then I was like, I have nobody to thank. You know what I mean? Except for the team that shot it, and you know,
right.
That's it.
Right. Yeah, that's always interesting too, because there's a lot of yes in LA and like, oh, you're amazing. Yeah, let's get you to do this. There's a lot of talk.
Oh my God, everybody loves everything you do always, but they're not gonna help you.
Yeah.
Until you're above them.
Yeah.
Until you crawl above them, then they're like, we should collab on this. I'm like, oh yeah, because it's helpful to you now.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's like I mean, it's tough to think about that when or it's good to think about that when maybe you are, you know, seeing people for like what their talent is, not for what their like social media numbers are. You know,
I think it's hard to differentiate for a lot of people.
We're in like that Black Mirror thing
yes.
where like your follower number is like above your head.
Yes.
You know,
where you're not talented until you're validated. Like 100%. I mean, again, just last year, I finally hit a point where I don't have to reach out to people to get booked on stuff. People reach out to me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, bookers, God bless their soul, like they're clout chasers too. Like they need you to have numbers to help promote the show, to do this, to do that, where it's like you're not, even though I'm telling the same jokes or similar jokes and I'm the same comic, now people think I'm worth having on their shows. Yeah, when I wasn't before.
Yeah. I do also want to say though, there are a lot of great comics who like and great creators who like they may have a huge following, but they're down if you have a good idea. There's a lot of those too.
Yeah.
There's I don't want to say it's all the one way. But yeah, so like, okay, so you kind of have, you have a lot of material out there. You know, you're doing the clip game and everything like that on your social media. Where do you like want to take this? Do you have an idea in your head of where to take this to be like, oh yeah, I made it? Or do you already feel like, oh yeah, I made it?
No. I love stand-up. I always want to do stand-up, but I want to do movies. I mean, I'm a writer and a screenwriter, and I want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
It seems just more fun and more stable, and the people you get to hang out with just seem a little more, I don't know. Comics are very dark.
Yeah.
Very dark group of people. And I'm a pretty dark person, but like, it's just a lot on the soul to like have to like hang out. And like, you know, I love comics, but like, I remember listening to Will Ferrell on the Dax podcast, Dax Shepard's podcast. And he was like, why did you never do stand-up? You're so funny. And Will Ferrell was like, have you ever hung out with stand-up comics? He's like, they're the worst group of people in the world. And I remember hearing that when I didn't believe that. And then like, I think just the more that's come out about people that I thought I knew and like things that have happened in our industry where I'm just like, this is kind of dark. You know, I would like to be in a more controlled environment on set shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that is about comics though? Is it they're all using it for therapy? Is it that?
Maybe. I think, yeah, you do have to be a certain level of like unwell to seek that kind of validation, or something has to have gone kind of wrong.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe to a degree. I mean, I don't know. It's such an interesting art form, I guess, in that like you're doing it. It's not like you're with a band. You know, playing,
right?
You know, I mean, you're doing this by yourself, and so you almost take every laugh personally.
Yeah.
If you're doing it wrong, I suppose you can't do it that way, but I suppose it's hard to avoid that.
Yeah.
And when they don't laugh, maybe that hits where you're already wounded because you're up there for a reason, right?
Right.
Because you're trying to get some sort of validation. Maybe.
Yeah. We're trying to fix something, I think. And it's like, there's this beautiful thing with stand-up where you can heal yourself and you can heal others at the same time.
Well, yeah.
But then if they don't like your jokes, then everybody's just a little more injured.
Yeah.
After my set, at least. Everyone's a little more sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've written a very funny film, which and very heartfelt and very I read your screenplay. It's awesome. So, and that kind of goes into your life. Is semi-autobiographical, would you call it?
We'll call it semi. We're going to have to say that it's not. We're going to have to say I just made that all up. I mean, it's not a true story, but there's like a lot of true components.
Right.
Yeah.
And how has sort of your personal life influenced your art, I guess? And do you think that when comedy is done right, you find something in yourself that though so personal and so unique to you is universally relatable? Is that kind of the mission?
Yeah, all of my comedy is painfully true. Like, obviously, I'll add little things to make it funnier or whatever, but most of it all just comes from my experience, which I think, makes it great when people can relate to it, and then also difficult when people don't like it because it's like more personal. Whereas I think when you do more like Seinfeld type comedy where you're like, the bathroom door is da-da-da, like if people don't like it, who cares? You know what I mean? It's an observation about a bathroom door. But
as someone who does a lot of that kind of stuff, I can tell you it still hurts.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Just so you know,
Really?
Solidarity. No,
I feel like it probably
joking.
hurts. Obviously, it hurts the ego, but it doesn't hurt the soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like, when I'm talking about, like, I talk about my mom's suicide and like that kind of stuff. And like when people aren't down to laugh with me, I'm like, I'm trying to make the best out of a bad situation. So it sucks that you're not helping me.
Yeah, right.
But then also, I have to be mindful. It is like such a tricky thing to talk about. So it's, my stand up and my art, it's all kind of like a tightrope, but it's like, I want to talk about things that are true to me and my experience, because that's all I have to offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like different from anyone else, is me and what I've been through.
Yeah. And that is such an interesting thing, because some people have either experienced that in their life, or they have, sort of these preconceived things about that. And really anything dealing with life and death and religion and all that, it kind of scares people a lot.
Yeah.
And they're not like willing to laugh at it.
It's traumedy. It's like a completely different thing.
Is that what you would call it?
Yeah.
Like what like your main...
I wouldn't say all of it is, because obviously some of it's very dumb and, talking about things that are a lot lighter than that. But I would say with my new hour, I have 15 minutes that can really scare people. Do
you always aim for a tight 15 that can scare the crap out of someone?
No, it's just I know when I'm heading into that part of my set where I might lose everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to like warn them. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, if you thought that was bad, it gets,
right.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's like more beautiful than when the people love it. Like, cause it is like a healing thing where I've had people come up to me and be like, I lost someone to suicide in this joke. Like I rewatch it and I rewatch it and I rewatch it. You know what I mean? Where I feel like it has the power to heal the people that are open to being healed.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does. It's a thing that someone can send you that clip or whatever. They can send it to you if you're going through that situation. And, Yeah. And that's a super great thing in that respect. Do you think, let's say you become, your movie takes off, which I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it'll get produced and do very well. If that happens, will stand-up comedy always be a part of your life?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's nothing quite like it.
The thrill of the bomb.
Well, I'm an addict. Like, don't forget that.
Still
and I have
addict.
nothing left.
Okay.
I'm an addict who doesn't drink, who doesn't do drugs. Yeah. And there is no high in the world like stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
When it's great, it is the best. And then when it's bad, it's the worst. It's truly an addiction. Like it's, it's like both sides of the coin where like when it's great, it's the best. It is the best. Like I just had 2 shows at the Hollywood Improv Sunday night and they were both back to back just killer shows. And I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I'm the shit. And then when I, don't do well, I'm like, I should get out of here.
Yeah. How do you deal with the you're going to continue doing it. How do you deal with the rejection, the bombs, the bad jokes, the terrible comments that, people will give you? How do you deal with that?
Well, the comments I just try to avoid because I realize, a lot of people sitting there. I can't imagine a world where I would ever go on anybody's thing where they're putting themselves out there and making art and I would say something negative because it's so brave to even try that. Like, I feel like if you're in a position where you're willing to take someone else down, you just need to go make your own fucking art.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's just a person who's stuck, who feels bad about what they're doing with their life, who wants you to feel bad about what you're doing with your life.
Right.
So it's like that. I try and look at it that way all the time. Sometimes it gets me. Like sometimes someone will say something that's very poignant and I'm like, they got a point. You know what I mean?
When they hit you with the thing you already know.
Yes.
I
Or
know.
it's something that's inside of me where they just find it and they hit it. It's like my mom. You know what I mean?
That.
Like it's just like a sniper. Like she knows like the one thing.
The weakness.
Yes.
You can see right through
you. So like when someone's like, women aren't funny or stop talking about sex or whatever, I'm just like, oh my God, shut up. Like whatever. But that stuff, I just, like I said, I have a social media manager, so I try not to look at it too much. And she doesn't care. It's not personal to her if that stuff comes up. But when I bomb, it's less devastating than it used to be. I'm more centered. I'm more like, this is just part of the job. I'm a pro. We have good days and we have bad days.
Meditate, yoga, anything that helps.
Meditation, transcendental meditation changed my life.
Yeah, I do that too.
Where I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm just kind of like, whatever. We just got to keep going.
Yeah.
It's just a long game. You just keep going and then something happens. That's the other thing. I'm not married to like how this career unfolds. Like I'm just excited to see what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you and everything like that?
My social media manager is on Instagram.
Okay, good.
Brittany Schmitt, BrittanySchmitt. No D in my last name. I took all those in college.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll end on a punchline here. We'll end on a punchline. And then you'll get some offended emails by that too.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Emails. Cool. Who has my, are you going to give out my email address? You're like, this resend the hate mail.
I'll forward you any ones that we get.
Okay, great. I can't wait.
I'll forward them to your social media manager.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I get bad emails sometimes too. It's okay.
All right. Well, congrats. Yeah. That means you're doing something.
No, cool. And you are the first person to be in what might be our podcast studio. We're not sure yet, right, Kelly?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway,
Kelly's gonna get.
Do you like these couches? These are from my Nana's basement.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're ranch oak.
Great. I have no idea.
I've just always been told that about these. Yeah. I don't even know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I know oak is good. It's strong and it lasts forever.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah. Great.
Cool. Because it
kind of giving like Green Bay Packer vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Get a yellow pillow.
Yeah, that would be great. Actually, I should do that. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.